Hey, I'm Eric Perkins of the Perkins Builder Brothers, and usually I'm building someone's custom home, but today I'm working on fixing my own house up because I have a couple days off work. So I'm doing a couple of the simple things that a lot of people will do. Number one, I painted the whole outside of this place with Jason with brushes. And number two, we're gonna fix up this entryway with a few details like a new doorknob, bronze color, a bronze knocker that will mount on the door, and new bronze street numbers to really make this area look freshened up and new. Let's look at this doorknob. It's a thumb style open and it has a lever on the inside with a separate deadbolt you can see, and that will match. Hey! Okay, amazingly enough, this new handle does have the same measurements as the old handle, which is about 22 years old. That's great. The one thing that's slightly off is where you have to drill through to connect the bottom of the big handle part. You have to drill through the door, and it looks like it's slightly different. So we're gonna see if that works out to actually cover up the existing hole that's already drilled through the door. I did do something really smart, which was to let my wife pick out the doorknob, and she got it from Lowe's, which is about 2 minutes away. And so I can return it if it's not gonna work out and she can pick out another one. I would recommend doing that instead of ordering something online if it's something that has to match your existing boring or existing anything with your house. First little snag here trying to get the faceplate off is it won't come off. And if you look closely under here, there's this little Allen key bolt right here. And this is holding the handle on and keeping the faceplate from going off. So if you're doing this yourself, check around because there's a lot of times little hidden type fasteners like that in your door set. Another pro tip here from doing this stuff over the years is I'm actually laying all the pieces in order from the very first thing I took apart on down the line, and I'm keeping them all together on a soft surface so my little screws don't roll away. So I took this cover off first, then these 4 little screws, then the handle with this hex wrench, then the faceplate, and then I took off the deadbolt and I put the screws back in the deadbolt so that I have to reassemble this thing for some reason. I've got all the parts and there's no confusion. I've got this handle set all disassembled now, and I want to make a note of a problem I'm going to have, and probably most people that want to replace a doorknob with a new one that's not exactly the same size and shape. And that's that you can see that there's a color difference behind where the faceplate was because it wasn't getting exposed to the sun like the rest of the door. Or you may have paint that's a different color behind it or something. That's going to be the biggest struggle, and I'm going to see what I can do about that. Here's a look at the directions that come with this. Wow, they are in depth, both sides, fine print. And I'm not gonna really go over directions because you may have a different doorknob, but I will note that a lot of this is options. Like your center of your boring may be a different distance from the outside of your door. So there's an option there. There's different options for face plates, different size screws and all that stuff. So we're just gonna show you how this one goes together, and hopefully you can get a lot from that. One good way to skip about half the instructions is actually just figure out what size screws go where out of this pack. These smallest ones will go into your latches that go inside your door. These medium-sized ones will go into your catch plate, and then these biggest ones will go into the deadbolt catch plate, but not necessarily if you have a side light, because it might actually go through that. So just check your screw length there before you run them in. Let's check out our deadbolt hardware here, and it's adjustable for the 2 most common boring depths, which is 2 3/8 and 2 3/4. Right now it's set for 2 3/8, but if you twist this piece, this little knob will ride along this little slanted shoulder here, and it'll actually extend this part out another bit to make it for 2 3/4 depth boring. Also very important, check this out, and this is true for almost all of these deadbolts. There is an up and down. So I'm looking at the orientation here, how this is gonna go in the door, and it shows me right there. Sometimes they even have a little arrow and it says like up on this piece right here. And this is one good thing, actually. This is super adjustable down here. So this can go up and down a few inches to maybe match our existing hole. One problem though I see already is that our spindle, which is that little half circle thing, is set up for the opposite door handing as our latch plate. You can see that once I turn it around is the opposite of that. So we're gonna have to pull this out and adjust it, making it for a left-handed door. I read the instructions. All you have to do is just pull this up and spin it. So that was way easier than I was anticipating, but that's good to go now. One thing I just mentioned was left or right-handed door, and it might seem like all doors could be opened with either hand, but they have to be categorized so that you know which way they swing, with it being hinged on one side of the jamb or the other. And a good way to find that out in the United States anyways is to put your back against the hinge side of the door, and then which way does the door swing? Left. In this case, it's a left-handed door. If the door were hinged here and you put your back to this side and it swung this way, that would be a right-handed door. We've got those installed now, and a little pro tip I do when I'm installing new hardware for the first time on a door is I check that the latch plate and the actual latch align vertically, like up and down. A lot of times on a pre-hung door, they don't, shocker. So just check that alignment for your deadbolt as well. And of course this does line up because it was pre-existing, but a lot of times they don't. Another great trick here is that if you are reinstalling some screws like in pre-drilled holes like that and it strips out, what you can do is take a little wood glue and a toothpick, dip the toothpick in wood glue and stick it in the existing hole, snap it off. And you let that dry, and then you've got actually new material that's glued to your door frame for your new screw to bite and actually get some traction in there. I've got my outside hardware mounted, my face plates, and you can see it looks like doo-doo. You can totally see where this old hardware was, this old faceplate on every section of this. So this got a little more complicated all of a sudden. I'm gonna get some sandpaper, try to get through this original finish. Since I'm a builder, I have lots of sandpaper, luckily. A little bit on sandpaper, we may as well. The lower the number, the coarser the grit. So it'd be 80 is the coarsest grit, the roughest, and then 120, and then 220 would be the smoothest, and that's kind of a big three there. If you're gonna do any kind of woodworking project, you wanna start with that, move up to 120, then to 220, and maybe even higher, depending on what you're doing. I'm gonna start with the 220 because it won't leave any deep gouges, and see if I can get that finish off with that. If not, I'll have to jump down to the 120 and then back to 220. I sanded on that for about 5 minutes manually, and I decided I'm gonna get the orbital sander. We're gonna sand a bigger area, and then I'm gonna have to feather in the finish. This manual business for the birds. Been sanding on this for a minute here, and this is kind of weird. I think some woods actually darken in the sun and some actually lighten. I think whatever type of this wood actually lightens in the sun. So the part that wasn't exposed is not lighter underneath like I was expecting. It's the same. So what I'm gonna have to do, I think, to blend this in now is sand this entire style of the door, top to bottom, so at least it looks all the same before I recoat the finish. And at least I'll get rid of some of that action, little dog claw action. So that's my plan of attack now. My clear finish is now dry, and I don't love the way it changed the color of the wood. If that doesn't seem to fade out after a couple weeks, what I have to do is take the door off the hinges, lay it flat, sand the whole thing, and refinish the whole thing again. But I'm willing to give it a chance to see if it kind of blondes out or bleaches out like the rest of the door sort of naturally. But for now, we're gonna go ahead and put on the handle set and the deadbolt and call this thing done. Check this out. None of our catch plates are compatible. The deadbolt has the holes in different locations than the original there. And the regular latch plate is just a different shape altogether. And it's already chiseled out for that size. So I'm either A, going to go to Lowe's and see if I can find color match compatible ones, or I'm just gonna scuff these down and paint them flat black and reinstall them. Okay, up next, we're gonna install this knocker, a manual knocker for our door. We don't have a doorbell or anything like that. We do have dogs, and that's usually our doorbell. And so hopefully this goes a lot smoother than the doorknob project. Let's go. These instructions call for a 13/64 hole. I don't have a 13/64 drill bit. I do have a 3/16, which is really close. It's a little smaller, so I'm going to be a little more accurate, but nobody has a 13/64 drill bit. Check this out. Screws are too long. That's bottomed out, so I'll figure out a way to cut those and put them back in. I'm just thinking about this. Why are these too long? And I just realized that the door frame is thicker than the panels. You can sight down and you see that panel disappears right there. So it's probably 3/16 of an inch thinner, which is enough. Now we're on to part 3 of this project, which is my street numbers. I want to put them on the siding, but I'm gonna have to look in here and see how they actually mount. This is fiber cement siding, which is kind of brittle, and I'm not sure if stuff will actually thread in there and hold. So I'm gonna check out the packaging and figure out what's gonna work best there. So these are floating letters. They're spaced off the wall by the thickness of that little collar solid section. These don't thread in, you just beat them in, and then the other end has threads on it that thread into the back of the number, so they float off the wall kind of like that far. I'm checking out the positioning here and my wife wanted them here, but you can see this lap siding is slightly slanted out, so that makes the letters like slightly slanted out, which I don't love. So I think I'm going to switch it up and put it on the corner board. There's a mock-up of this option. You guys leave me a comment. Let me know what you think was the right way to do it. But I think I'm going to go with corner board so that they, mount flat. Again, 13/64 drill bit. Do not have one of those. So we're going to go 3/16 and just wallow it a little bit. Well, that's the numbers. If my wife does not like where they are, what I'm gonna have to do is pull them off, caulk those holes, let that dry, paint that, and then I'll move them somewhere else. So hopefully she loves it. That wraps up the entryway makeover here at my own house, doing a few simple details to make it look new and fresh again. I may have to keep working on some things, like I may have to refinish this whole door, unfortunately, and I do have to get some black latch plates. Other than that, I'm done. I'm gonna clean up. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something. Make sure to stay tuned because pretty soon we're gonna be back at the Nantahala retreat, building our custom home. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, that does help. We'll see you next time.